Hello and welcome to Around the Air Force. I'm Senior Airman Alina Richard. Secretary of the Air Force Michael Donnelly and Air Force Chief of Staff General Mark Welsh III spoke before the Senate Armed Services Committee about the fiscal year 2014 budget. General Welsh said that while the request does not fully account for the necessary recovery from sequestration, it does prioritize reversing the decline readiness trend. General Welsh also stressed the importance of protecting the modernization of the Air Force.
The KC-46, the F-35, and the long-range strike bomber remain our top three investment priorities. We need the F-35. It remains the best platform available to address the proliferation of highly capable integrated air defenses and new air-to-air threats. The long-range strike bomber will give our nation a flexible, credible capability to strike globally with precision on limited notice, should the national interest require. The KC-46 is our highest modernization priority and will ultimately replace a third of our current tanker fleet.
When it comes to learning combat skills, airmen rely heavily on the expertise of their instructor. Airman First Class Rachel Maxwell introduces us to an instructor at the Ground Combat Training Squadron who understands the importance of his job.
All right, put your guys' goggles on, let's head out.
This isn't your typical classroom setting. These students are learning about combat. Their teacher? Staff Sergeant Aaron Alvarado from the 99th Ground Combat Training Squadron on the Nevada Test and Training Range. Knowing that his teachings could mean the difference between life and death, Staff Sergeant Alvarado tries to keep the training as realistic as possible to prepare his students for any combat situation.
Open the door, see? Open the door, head back inside. Go! Clear.
If I want them to make mistakes, I'd rather them make mistakes over here in the training environment where I can correct them rather than overseas where harm's in their way or there's actual threat over there. It's a rewarding job knowing that you're training security force members to go downrange and to work in the AO, the area of operations.
How you guys doing in there?
And knowing that you're training them to keep them safe so they can come back to their families is definitely a different experience in the career field. Make sure you maintain your security when you're falling back.
Thanks to Staff Sergeant Alvarado's teachings, these airmen are equipped with the knowledge and confidence they'll need to return safely. Airman First Class Rachel Maxwell, Nevada Test and Training Range, Nevada.
Weapons load crews on Osan Air Base took part in some friendly competition to see just who is the fastest and best. Senior Airman Nancy Kasberg takes us to the action.
There's a competition going on.
Back to our side where we win.
Sounds a little overconfident, right? Well, when you're an E3 and you're representing your squadron in a weapons load competition, you kind of have to.
The sense of pride you get from beating somebody at your job, being the best. Love that.
For Airman First Class Nicholas Kazakowski, winning isn't the only motive for doing his job.
I love the rush of loading. I don't know, something about bombs, their power is just exciting. A part of my job is going to the end of the runway and pulling all the pins, our safe pins, which makes the bombs live so they can drop. And you're right there with the engines running, it's about to take off, you see it go down the runway.
But for now, his focus is excelling at his job and taking home the win for the best weapons load crew.
I'm not gonna have words, it's just gonna be great.
Senior Airman Nancy Kasberg, Osan Air Base, Korea.
The 2013 Warrior Games kick off this weekend in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Wounded, ill, and injured service members and veterans will converge on Colorado to go for gold as they represent their service in this fourth year of the Games. We'll have coverage of this year's Games on AFN and the Pentagon Channel with updates on events and feature stories on the Air Force competitors. Stay tuned all next week to keep track of the Air Force team's progress. To find additional information on stories affecting airmen and their families, visit the Air Force's official website, AFLink. From the Air Force Broadcasting Service, I'm Senior Airman Alina Richard.